The invites are out, the date is set, and bits and pieces of the iPhone 13 still continue to leak. This right here is our final time to talk about absolutely everything we think we know about the iPhone 13 series launching very soon. Let's go through all the biggest leaks, all the last minute rumors, and talk about the top 13 things you need to know about the iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 Pro series launching very soon. Is this a big year for the iPhone, one to really get excited about? Or should you skip this year's iPhone and maybe wait for something next year? Let me break it all down. And a big thanks to Bossy Bopt for sponsoring this video. Folks, we are just days away at this point from the official announcement of the iPhone 13 at Apple's September 14th event. Yes, after many months of rumors and speculation and plenty of leaks, the iPhone 13 will finally become official and we'll finally see it from Apple themselves. And of course, there is always some room here for some last minute additions, maybe some last minute detractions, certainly a one more thing or two, but typically around this time of year, the iPhone is locked in and we basically know all there is to know about the phone for the most part, and the iPhone 13 is certainly no exception. We are like 95% confident that we know most of the features coming to this year's iPhone lineup, so let me just break it all down and tell you everything you need to know about the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro series. On the surface here, the iPhone 13 looks eerily similar to the iPhone 12, and that, of course, is not by accident. There is not a drastic design change coming to the iPhone 13 this year, with a couple of key exceptions to that rule. You're still gonna have the same industrial design, the same boxy edges. On the surface here, and even at first glance, it could be a little hard to tell the difference between an iPhone 13 and an iPhone 12, but look a little closer and you'll sort of start to spot the big differences. The first is gonna be on the front with a smaller notch on all iPhone 13 models. Yes, the iPhone 13 is finally getting a smaller notch, and inside of that smaller notch should be next generation, new and improved Face ID technology. According to John Prosser, Apple employees are currently extensively testing the new Face ID technology that should work better with sort of the modern 2020, 2021 conditions, meaning better with masks and better with foggy glasses and better with weird combinations of masks and glasses. Basically, Face ID should get better and should work as securely as it does, but also should be a little bit more convenient to unlock when you're wearing a mask. Now, it's unclear if these big drastic improvements with Face ID are coming in terms of hardware or in terms of software, or maybe new hardware than a software update later, but hopefully we should see some improvements to the Face ID system on all iPhone 13 models. Now, in terms of what iPhone 13 models will actually get, it's gonna be very, very similar again to what we got last year with the iPhone 12, meaning the exact same screen size options and basically the exact same four models, meaning a 5.4-inch 13 mini, a 6.1-inch 13, a 6.1-inch 13 Pro, and a 6.7-inch 13 Pro Max. The one big caveat here to keep in mind is that this is presumably the last year of the mini iPhone. After this year, there will not be a mini iPhone with the iPhone 14, so if you want a sort of flagship level-esque iPhone and you want sort of the latest and greatest in terms of camera technology and processor and display and stuff like that, buy the 13 mini this year, do not wait, because next year with the 14, the mini line looks like it will be discontinued, I'm sorry to say. Flipping around to the back of the iPhone 13 is where you'll start to notice another difference between the 13 and 12 series, specifically with the camera. Now on the iPhone 13 and 13 mini, the cameras are moving from a vertically stacked system to a diagonal system for a couple of reasons. Some speculate that this is because Apple wants the 13 series to look different than the 12 series on first glance, and that does make sense. And also it's because sensor shift stabilization is coming to all iPhone models this year. Taking a look at the 13 Pro and Pro Max, the whole camera system on those phones is noticeably larger than what we got on the iPhone 12 Pro series as well. So the cameras all look a little bit different here on the various models of the iPhone 13 compared to last year's iPhone 12. Now in terms of color, it's a little unclear what Apple is going to do with their offering of colors on the 13 and 13 mini. Will purple stick around? That was sort of a late edition that we got a couple of months ago. Could they add new colors, take away ones that we have? We don't really know what Apple is going to do with those phones, though I'd venture to guess they're going to stay pretty similar. But on the Pro series, we've got a couple of different color options we've got to talk about. One is that Apple could introduce a new sort of bronze, sunset gold, copper color to be the new exclusive color on the iPhone 13 Pro series, replacing Pacific Blue that we got on the 12 Pro with this new sort of gold bronze color. The other rumor we've heard is that Apple could either replace space gray or refine space gray with a more matte black, darker black texture for those phones. It sort of gives it a new sleek look and something we haven't seen on previous iPhones before. That would be really cool and give a couple of cool color options for the iPhone 13 Pro models this year. And of course, something that all iPhone 13 models will share this year are all the regular under-the-hood improvements we see in year-to-year upgrades. This means the latest and greatest Apple silicon, like the A15 Bionic processor that's more powerful and more efficient. We're expecting to see larger physical batteries in all iPhone 13 models this year, which is really cool, especially for the tinier 13 mini. We should see upgrades to cellular modems, Wi-Fi 6E support, and just sort of the under-the-hood improvements you'd expect to see that make your iPhone feel snappier, faster, more capable, more powerful, more efficient. This is sort of the stuff you'd expect to see, of course, coming to all iPhone 13 models this year. But that's sort of where the similarities end between the 13 models, the 13 and 13 mini, and the Pro models with the 13 Pro and Pro Max, because it seems like a lot of the higher end features and the exclusive features are coming to the Pro end models and not to the regular iPhones. Now, don't get me wrong, the 13 and 13 mini are still great phones. You're getting the smaller notch, the bigger battery, the A15 processor, all the under the hood improvements. You're still getting a great phone for the price, but if you want the latest and greatest in terms of display technology and camera features and hardware and software upgrades, then look no further than the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max this year. One of the biggest new upgrades with the iPhone 13 Pro series this year is really with the display. Now, of course, they're still the same display sizes, they're still beautiful OLED panels that are vibrant, they're colorful, they're gonna look great for watching movies, scrolling through social feeds, whatever you wanna do, but the display technology under the hood has changed. Apple is now adopting LTPO display technology, which allows for two really useful features. One is 120Hz ProMotion, and also an always-on display mode as well. Now, 120Hz refresh rate is nothing new. We've seen this on the iPad Pro, we've seen this on countless Android phones over the years, but it's the first time after many, many years of rumors that it has finally come into the iPhone this year. And basically, doubling the refresh rate makes your phone feel faster, snappier, more responsive. It basically feels like you've got a supercharged iPhone just because the refresh rate has doubled, which is kind of cool, going from 60 to 120 Hertz. And also, we could see an always-on display mode as well. Now, this is a lot less concrete than ProMotion. That seems like a done deal. Always on display is sort of still up in the air, but we know that this LTPO display tech allows for this to be a feature on the iPhone. And also we know that Apple has done always on display modes with the Apple Watch, and we hopefully could see this come to the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max as well. Basically, you'd be able to look down at your iPhone's display and it's not off, but it's in this ultra low power mode, but still shows you things like the time and the weather and incoming notifications and maybe your activity rings, basically borrowing a lot of features from the Apple Watch since the Series 5 and bringing that over to the Pro end models of the iPhone this year. And again, these aren't really groundbreaking on their own, but putting ProMotion and always on display modes together is something really cool and something I'd love to see on the Pro models of the iPhone 13. Now, in addition to those upgrades on the display, we're also expecting some upgrades to come to the Pro and camera setups on the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max as well. We're expecting the ultra-wide lens to get a bit of a boost, able to capture more light with an f1.8 aperture, and also better autofocusing capabilities as well. And we had heard some rumors that Apple could give us larger physical sensors, or maybe more megapixels, or maybe there could be some more under the hood hardware improvements to come to the camera, but those sort of remain a mystery as of right now. The ultra wide lens upgrade sort of seems like a done deal, but everything else is still a little unclear. What is a lot less unclear though are the new software additions coming to make the photo capabilities and the video capabilities on the Pro and Pro Max much more versatile. One of the big upgrades coming on the video side is portrait mode video, that finally now you can get sort of that blurry background, shallow depth of field effect in video and not just photos. That should be super cool to see. Apple could also be adding ProRes video support on the iPhone 13 Pro series as well, so you could record higher quality, less compressed video that works beautifully with Apple's Final Cut Pro as well if you want to do your editing and shooting all within the Apple ecosystem. And we could also see a number of photo capabilities added as well, maybe a astrophotography mode for super cool nighttime sky shooting, and also this special machine learning AI stylization mode that better colors and stylizes your photos better than what we can do right now within the stock photo app. Not really sure what this feature could be, but basically it should take your photos to a next level and allow the computers and brains of the iPhone to do all of the hard work for you. Before we continue with more of the major upgrades coming to the iPhone 13, I want to take a quick break and show off a truly fantastic iPhone accessory that takes your iPhone charging to a whole new level, and that of course is made by this video's sponsor, VosiBoat. This is the 3-in-1 wireless charging stand from VosiBoat, and it's here to bring style and elegance and organization to wherever you charge your Apple devices. No longer do you need a bunch of cables and clutter for charging your iPhone and AirPods and Apple Watch. This 3-in-1 wireless charging stand does it all and makes it super clean, super sleek, and whether it's on your bedside table or your desk, it's gonna look great anywhere you charge your devices. One of my favorite features of this 3-in-1 wireless charging stand is that it's got MagSafe compatibility built right in. To charge your iPhone, magnets keep it secure and safe in charging, and also you can charge it vertical, you can charge it horizontal. You've got lots of options when you're charging your phone on this stand, and also perfect charging for AirPods and the Apple Watch as well. And speaking of the Apple Watch, VosiBoat has got this really cool thing on the bottom of the wireless charging stand that sort of routes your cable through this really particular pattern to keep all the cords and clutter out of sight. So you've just got the super sleek looking wireless charging stand, and all those cables are sort of out of the way, out of sight, out of mind. I also really appreciate that VosiBoat includes a 3M MagSafe magnet in the box that you can use to attach to a case or an older non-MagSafe iPhone, so you can still harness the power and ease of charging your iPhone with MagSafe magnets, but not have to have MagSafe built in your iPhone. It's a small little detail, but it's really important, and I really, really love that they include that right in the box. So now is the time to ditch the cables and the clutter and sort of the eyesore of that wire nest that comes with trying to charge 3 Apple devices at once, and just go with something that's simple, it's easy, it's elegant, it's sleek, and that is the 3-in-1 wireless charging stand from VosiBoat. If you want to learn more and pick one up for yourself today, hit that link down below to learn more and make wireless charging easy, simple, and looking great with VosiBoat today. So those are a lot of the big upgrades and features coming to the iPhone 13 models in just a couple of days, but we're not done just yet, because there's a lot of last minute leaks and rumors that sort of keep transforming the iPhone 13 even more. One of the biggest of the bunch being this new rumored satellite connectivity support on the iPhone 13. According to reports from Ming-Chi Kuo and Bloomberg, the iPhone 13 might have satellite connectivity support built in, basically allowing your iPhone to connect to certain satellites and make calls and send limited text where there is no traditional cell service available. So maybe you're hiking and you get separated from your group, or you get injured and you need to make a call to an emergency service. Your iPhone 13 could do that for you and connect to satellites and make that call or send that limited text without you having to have any special equipment or any attachments or anything like that. The iPhone 13 would have that capability built in. That would be super cool to see, though it might come with the iPhone 13. It might not launch until next year, or maybe it launches with a software update. Also, would this come to all iPhone 13 models or just the Pro models? Still a lot of speculation here on how this is going to work, but this could very well be a big feature of the iPhone 13 coming in just a couple of days. We also continue to get more clarity on some of these unanswered questions that we had with the iPhone 13 just a couple of months ago. Like the port, for example, the port is staying this year. Lightning is going to be the case across the board. There is not going to be any crazy portless iPhone or the switch over to USB-C. And also, again, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Touch ID does not look like it's happening at all this year again. It's not going to be built under the display. It's not going to be built into the power button. Apple seems to be doubling down on Face ID and moving sort of full steam ahead on making Face ID better and better, and Touch ID seems to be regarded now as a lower tier method and a lower tier priority for biometric authentication. So maybe it's something we see on lower end iPhones, maybe we see it on non-Pro iPhones in the future, but regardless of all that, it is not coming in any sense on the iPhone 13 lineup this year. So just Face ID, no Touch ID, I'm sorry. And last but not least, 2 more rumors we've got to cover with the iPhone 13. One is that the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max might get a 1 terabyte option available when you check out. So if you want the most storage option available on your Pro model, you can now go to 1 terabyte, which would be nice to see. And also, speaking of buying your iPhone and checking out, prices might go up this year. According to multiple rumors and reports, the price of the iPhone 13 might go up this year, either across the board or only on Pro models, or it's a little unclear how Apple is going to do this. Typically, they don't really change the price year over year with the exception of big redesigns or new models, but just keep in mind the pricing might change this year on the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro, and probably not for the better. If there is a price change, prices might go up just a bit. So that is everything we think we know about the iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 Pro models launching in just a few days. Again, Apple can always surprise us all with one more thing. They could have some last minute additions, and I'd love to be proven wrong, and I'd love to see some new stuff come, but I think 95% of me is confident that this is it. This is what the iPhone 13 is gonna be. This is what we're gonna get with the 13 mini and the 13 Pro Max, and this is what we're expecting to see launch in just a couple of days. And I, for one, am very excited, and I can't wait to get my hands on the latest and greatest iPhone. But what are your thoughts? I always want to hear from you guys. Are you planning to upgrade to the iPhone 13? And if so, which model would you go with and why? And if you don't decide to upgrade, what happened? Is there just not enough here to make it worthwhile? Are you missing Touch ID? Is ProMotion not a big deal? Are you waiting for a big redesign? What are your thoughts on the iPhone 13 series this year, and which model would you pick up and which one are you gonna skip? And I just wanna know all your thoughts. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm just kind of wrapping things up, so let me just actually wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching the Apple Circle. I appreciate it. I'm Robert Rosenfeld. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.